Hello everyone, I'm Singh from Department of Computer Application, and I welcome you all in this online lecture series. And my topic is call by value and call by reference with respect to problem solving using C. So let's move further. If we recall the concept of function, then what is function? Function is a block of statement that we will use to perform some specific task. And if we are passing some argument into a function, if we want to pass some argument, then we will use these two ways, that is call by value and another is call by reference, right? So throughout the PPT, we will going to discuss about call by value and call by reference by taking an example, right? So the first thing is, in call by value method, the value of actual parameter is copied into formal parameter. So you need to remember these two terms, actual parameter and formal parameters. Second thing, in call by value method, we cannot modify the value of actual parameter by the formal parameter. So we are going to discuss two types of parameters, that is actual and formal parameters. In case of call by value, we cannot change the value of actual parameter by the formal parameter, that we will discuss through an example, right? Why we cannot change the value? Because different memory is allocated for the actual and formal parameters, right? What we will do, we will allocate the different memory for actual and formal parameter. As different memory is allocated, so if we are changing in actual parameter, then definitely it will not get reflected into the formal parameter. So this is the reason that we cannot change the value of actual parameter by changing the value of formal parameter, right? So what is the actual parameter? Actual parameter is the argument which is used in function call, right? Whereas formal parameter are the argument which is used in the function definition, right? So let's take an example. If we are calling a method name as add, right? And we are taking two parameter x and y. Okay, so in this case, we are calling this add function with two arguments, that is x and y. So these are the actual parameters. And if we define this function, right, we are like using return type int. Let's say it is returning something and we are having the function name, and we will having the parameters like int x comma int y, right? So this is the definition of the function. We will write something like this. So, and this is the calling of the function, right? So here x and y are known as actual parameter, and here these x and y are treated as the formal parameter, right? So these x and y will occupy the different memory from these other x and y, right? If it is x and it is having 10 value, there is y and having 20 value, then these memory location will be different. Okay, so this is the thing that you need to remember. Okay, now in this case we are copying the value of x is equal to 10 into this value, right? So they are different memory location. So I hope this point is clear to you. That is, in this case, different memory is allocated for actual parameters, since the value of actual parameter is copied. Okay, we are using the different memory location, so we are just copying the value from one parameter to the another parameter, though they are having the same name, but memory will be different. Now let's take an example. Here we will start the main and having the value x is equal to 100, right? Here we are having the value of x is equal to 100. Okay, so now before function call, definitely here x will give you 100, and we are calling a function change, right, with one parameter, that is x. So in this case, x will be the actual parameter, right? I hope it is clear to you. Now what will happen when we call a function? Then it will move the pointer back to the calling part. So it will call the change function with parameter x, with value of x basically, right? So value of x here is 100, so it will get copied into the num, right? So now here the num 100 value will be copied to the num, right? So num is the formal parameter and x is the actual parameter. Now before adding inside num, so definitely we are not changing something, so it will give you 100. And if we are adding 100 into num, so here the num value will become the 200, right? Now, when the work get completed, because we are having the void pointer type, so definitely it is not returning anything. So after completing this last statement, the cursor will come back to the calling part, right? And the next statement is printf. So what will here the output? So if you see, the value of x is printing here, which is get changed in the function part, but here it will give you 100, because we are just copying the value of x into the num part, right? So this is the main you can say that this is the main thing that we can say about the call by value, that we are just copying the value. The memory of actual parameter is different from the memory of the formal parameter, right? So let's say see the output of the program. Before function call, value of x is 100. Inside the function it was 100. After adding value inside the function, it will become the 200. But when we return back to the function, main function, then it is printing the value as 100. It will not get changed from 200 to 100, because we are using the concept of call by value, right? So you need to remember this thing, that in call by value, we will just copy the value, right? We will just copy the value, right? So that's why the value of actual parameter will be different from the value of formal parameter. Now come to the next topic, that is call by reference. The address of the variable is passed into the function call, right? We are passing the address of the variable into the function call as actual parameter. We are not taking the value, right? So the value of actual parameter can be modified by changing the formal parameter, because address is passed, right? If we see the last example here, what we were doing, we were passing the value only, right? We were passing the value, like x value will be copied into the this x value, right? Formal parameter. So address may be different, like if we are having the values 1002 here and it is saving into 1004, right? So in this case, what will happen? 200, let's say 4 we are taking, and if we are taking 2008, right? So memory is different, right? Memory is different. So we are having the different memory location for actual parameters, and we are having different memory location for formal parameters. So that is why we were just changing the value, and not the actual values is reflecting back to the main x and y value, actual parameters, right? But in case of call by reference, what will happen? We are using the address, we are not talking about the value, right? So if we are changing something into the address, then definitely it will be reflected, right? So we are using the address. In call by reference, the memory allocation is similar for both parameters, right? So if memory is same, and if we are changing something in that particular memory location, then definitely the actual and formal parameter will become the same, right? So let's take an example. In this case, the same example I have taken, the value of x is 100 here also. Before function call, it will not get changed, and it will give you the 100, right? Now, just see this line. In function calling, we are passing the address. So if x value is saving into, let's say x is having the address as 1002, and we are having the value 100 here, right? So this address is passing into the call by reference, right? Now when you call this function, then this num is also denoting the same memory location, right? Num is also this one, right? Now in this case, we are changing the value of num. As you see, we are changing the value as num. So here it will give you 100, and after changing it will become the 200, right? Now just remember one thing, that memory location is same, right? So we are using the same memory location for x as well as the num, right? So if you are changing something in the same memory location, so in place of 100 it will come to the 200. So either we are talking about the x, or either we are talking about the part of num, both will be the same, right? So now when you get back to the to back your main part, then after function call, what will be it will give you? It will print the 200. So I hope this difference between call by value and call by reference is clear to you, right? Because we are using the same memory location, so the value will not get changed in case of call by value, because we work only on the value part. But in case of call by reference, as we work on the address part, so whatever the change we will get at one location will be reflected to the actual parameter also. right? So it will be the output. As you see, the value before function call was 100. Before adding, it was 100. When we were adding something into the num, it was giving you 200. And after function call, again it was 200, because we have made changes into the address. We are not copying the value and then making the changes, right? Now, if call by value, in case of call by value, you are using the value, and in case of call by reference, you are sending the address of something, right? So in which case you are going to use call by value, and in which case you going to use call by reference, right? This is one important thing. So right, because pointer is somehow a little bit tricky concept, then why we can go for the call by value, and if we are using the call by reference, then we are using the pointers, right? So the first thing is the call by reference approach has the advantage of pointer. So we are not doubling the thing, right? We were having the same memory location for x as well as the num, right? So why there is a need to use the call by value? If we are having the same memory location, a single memory, and we can change the value, then why not build all the parameter by reference? Why there is a need for call by value, right? So the first thing is unwanted side effect result the unintentionally changing a call by reference parameter, right? So if we change something in a main part unintentionally, or if we make changes in a function, then definitely the value get changed, right? Because the location is same, right? If we will change something in this place, like value was 10 and in function we are changing it into 20, then it will get changed, right? So definitely there is some side effects. Similarly, you normally want the data to be private and changeable upon the request, right? In call by value, what will also happen, because function is using the concept of reusability, right? So if something is using our code again and again and changing the value, then definitely it will not become the private, right? So it depends whether you want to use your value at one go, or you want to use a single memory location, then go for the call by reference. But if you want the security, if you want that someone will not get change the value without using your consent, then definitely you have to use the concept of call by value, right? So I hope this concept is clear to you. These are the references. Thank you so much for listening, and have a nice day.